Hey y'all. How you doing? Welcome if you are new to the channel, and welcome back if you love me. I was in the mood for mood lighting, so it's a little dark for y'all, but it's sexy starlight for me. So we're gonna go with that. We're gonna spin the wheel, see what sign it is today. Have some fun. All signs. I had a fucking feeling. All signs. All right. Let me get this ready then. Aries, Taurus. You guys can call out the order as you pop in. I just need to organize myself so I don't miss anybody. So let's see. That's 1, 2, 3. Who knew? When Spirit has me go early like this, because this is early for me. 8:40 is early for me. So when Spirit has me go early, I'm like, all signs. It's got to be all signs. It's got to be all signs. Oh my gosh, and it is. So let's, you know what? Let's just see where we're going to start. You guys aren't like quite caught up and in the chat yet. Let's see. What sign are we going to start with? I'm going to roll my astro dice. Aqua. All right. Aqua will be first. And then as you guys pop in, you can let me know in the chat which sign you'd like me to do next. Otherwise, I will just default to continuing in the order. All right. With that, really, Aqua. We're going to do vice versa tarot today, and we're going to do my hand-drawn cards. So what's the archetypal energy for Aqua right now? Aqua, Sun, Moon, Rising, the house that Aqua rules for you, that it's significant, right, in regards to that area of your life. 2. We got one of my new cards. I didn't tell y'all because I wanted it to be surprises like this. I added 3 new cards to my hand-drawn deck. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before because I work in the wee hours of the morning. But we've got 2 for Aqua. The Comet and the Foundation. The Comet and the Foundation. The Comet's all about like omen and coming and going pretty quickly. The Foundation is about checking what you've laid, right, before you move on to the next step. It's having the literal foundation structure built and needing to inspect the quality of the foundation that you've built in order to continue to build on top of it, which starts with the self, right? It's metaphorical for the self. Is the base of who you are solid to build the life or future that you want to have? You know, like for me, my foundation, like I would not be who I am if I was a dishonest person or a liar. You know, I wouldn't be who I am if money took precedence over love and spirit, you know. So there's certain things that if I want to move forward and build the life I want with the type of partner that I want, if I want a partner, like, is my foundation going to be strong enough to create the life that I want on top of it? Is who I am right? Is who I am right? And right is between you and spirit. Right? You know, if there are certain things about yourself that would get in the way of the relationship or the future that you want. You know, like maybe you want a certain person, but you're not necessarily loyal. You know, that's not your history, right? Like you might have to make that shift if you want a long-term solid relationship to being loyal and or find someone who is also not loyal, and y'all can have an open relationship, right? Figure out what works for you. What foundation are you building, and will it build the dream you want, right? Will it be able to withstand it and hold it? Let's get some cards and see what this looks like. I've never done that before. I picked up the deck and 4 cards stayed on the table. We're going to take all of them. Okay, clarities, please, for Aqua. Like I said, you guys can call out whatever signs you want me to do next in the chat. I haven't done any other signs. We just started. Okay, so first and foremost, Aqua, if you're going to set the foundation to build your future, you have to know what the goal is first. You know, because a strong foundation for one future is not necessarily a strong foundation for another future. So you have to set the goal first. Some Aquas, depending on the placements and where it hits, right, in your chart, you might feel sad because either the goal you want is going to be really hard to get, or you're afraid that if you put in all this effort, really, we got the Ace of Cups on top and the 7 of Swords on the bottom. I think you're afraid that if you invest, and I say invest because we've got the Queen of Pentacles here in the back face, that it's going to end up being not what you wanted, and that you'll have to defend your manifestation and try and bring it some structure later. That's why it's so important, right? That's why it's so important for you to set yourself up correctly. Like, if you want to build a long-standing relationship based on trust and loyalty, like, you really have to keep your insecurities in check, right? The jealousies, or feeling not good enough, or feeling inadequate, because those types of low vibrations are going to come out and be projected at your partner, and in some which way, shape, or form, whether it comes out as you ignoring them, or it comes out as you being over clingy, or it comes out as you having a wandering eye, right? Insecurities are not going to set up a solid foundation. So there's certain things that you really do need to keep in check and retrain your mind out of thinking in those patterns of unworthiness or not being good enough for the foundation of the life that you want, right? All right, Gem next. I got you, Christina. I got you. So I feel Aqua, especially if you have strong Gemini in your chart, because Gemini is on the board. We do have the Magician. It's the only major arcana out here. We do have 2 aces and a 10. So, you know, we are at the beginning stages. I think there are some changes that need to be made in order to create balance, though. Like, double check yourself, because I don't think anything's impossible. If you want the goal, you can achieve the goal. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, at the end of the day, like, and I'll say this because Gemini is on the board, right? And I've got Jupiter Aqua in my chart, and I love Aqua energy, and I do love Gemini energy. I can't do relationships with Gemini and energy, mostly because if there are insecurities, it goes up against my stellium, and my stellium will crush it, you know, and I invest big time, right, when it comes to Gemini and energy, just because it's where my Chiron is. I can't not go all in. I go all in. So if I'm going to go all in for someone and their insecurities are going to ruin it, it's going to leave me crushed, you know? So I say that I will not ever date Gemini placements, but the reality is if I met somebody who was truly healed and they had Gemini placements and them and I got along really well and it just clicked, of course, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, I can't date you because you've got this or that. I just know whatever this or that is has to be checked before we move forward. It has to be checked at the foundation level. You know, this has to be established. This is a ground rule, right? A ground rule or a hard line. Like, this is not acceptable. If you choose this behavior, I promise I'm going to leave. I'm not going to come back. You know what I mean? So wherever you are in your life, you have to make sure that the foundation is good before you move forward. You have to make sure you are good before you bring other people into the manifestation, and vice versa, right? You have to be good before you allow yourself to be brought into someone else's manifestation. Otherwise, the manifestation is going to take the toll, right? It's going to pay the price for it not being done correctly. My father was a carpenter. He specialized as a carpenter. And he always used to tell me, measure twice, cut once. You will have less waste that way. You will waste more time and more material if you don't measure twice before you cut. People always say, oh, why measure twice? It takes so much time for nothing. He goes, until you mess it up. And then you've cost yourself time and money, more time than it would have taken you to double check the measurement. And so that is the kind of principle that's applying here for you. Measure twice, cut once. Double check yourself before moving forward. You will save yourself a lot of time and a lot of energy, a lot of resource if you check the foundation first. All right, if you check the foundation first. I think if you want something specific too, Aqua, I would make your intentions, your goals really clear. I would make it really clear, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you're even juggling the ideal and the reality. Go into it knowing that you guys are both locked in on the ideal and not guessing on what that ideal is. You know, communicate what it is. In the end game, what's the goal? What's the goal? What's the reason? What's the purpose behind pursuing what you're pursuing? And make sure that whatever that is on the same page as you. Make sure it's on the same page. All right. Gemini. Gemini sun, moon, rising. The house that Gemini rules for you. What is going on with Gemini in this beautiful divine time? What is going on for Gem at this time? What is the archetypal energy? What's the embodiment right now for Gem? That's chunk too much, but wounds was on top of that chunk. Noted. We've got the chrysalis. Ooh, I like it. I like that the wounds went back in and that this is what came out. The chrysalis and the dawn. Now, one of my new cards is on top. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's on top. Okay, so this is about emergence, and you might come out with a huge flash bang from the chrysalis. Underneath the BOMB is the honor. So let's see what's going on, Jen. Because you're definitely breaking out in a big way into your light, like flash of light. And it might just be this huge stellium that showed up in your sign before Jupiter's exit. You know, like we've got Mercury, we had the sun, the moon, and Jupiter all in your sign. No offense to any Gemini out there, because I really do love y'all's energy, but I am so glad that Jupiter is leaving. I could feel the difference when the moon entered Cancer. I was like, oh, it's back. It's back. I was so glad. I don't like it. I don't like having stelliums of shit in my 12th house. It's unnerving for me. It's unnerving. It showed over the last few days. It definitely showed. Oh my God, for real. But yeah, let's see what's emerging for Gemini. What is this energy? All right, I got the 10 of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, which is kind of sticking itself out there. I've also got the moon here. What else? So Piscean energy could also be strong. Gemini, your card is here with the Magician now. The Ace of Wands. Give me one more and then clarities. All these cards want to keep showing, but they're popping back in. You might really be overcoming like old energy trying to creep up on you. Cancer energy. Chariot's out now. Clarities, please. Second time the King of Wands came out. I've got the King of Pentacles in the reverse, the Page of Swords back face, King of Wands back face, Page of Wands. All people on the bottom. What's the last? Clarity, please, for the Chariot. Okay. So, Gem, I think you're well aware that if you don't break the fuck out of whatever chrysalis you're in right now, that the shadows on the walls are going to become permanent fixtures type thing. I always get that energy. We've got 3 of Cups on top, and we have the 7 of Swords again on bottom, this time in the back face. This 9 of Swords. This is when I wish I would have turned my mood lighting off, but you can kind of see this shadow right on the side of the wall there. He's trying to look out the window and all of these swords are in the way, and there's this shadow figure that's not in the room, but it's manifesting, right? It's manifesting into the room. The shadows are becoming real, and it's clarifying the Chariot, which means you know that you have to make moves and kind of get out of your own head about certain things, because the 9 of Swords is high anxiety. And I feel like you have to move on from it. In some cases, the 9 of Swords could even be like PTSD type energy or complex PTSD, right? See PTSD. And it's like knowing that you have certain things that have happened to you in the past that really could be considered crippling as far as creating fear inside the mind, right? The memory of it moving forward, because you've been through something so traumatic in the past, whether it was, overtly traumatic and, it was like a car accident or an abusive relationship, right? Something overtly and obviously traumatic, or if it was more internal trauma where your emotions and your heart and your psyche just took such a huge hit that it's scary, right? It's scary. Like Kristen posted this earlier on Facebook, and I saved it. But it was a quote, and it said, "Am I afraid of love? Absolutely. I know how deep I dive, and everyone isn't worth drowning for." It's like knowing you've been through some shit, right? Knowing you've been through some shit and knowing who you are, and really figuring out who and what fits in the future. I think you don't want. I think you can. I don't think you want to stay stuck in the energy you're in. You want out of the chrysalis for sure. And you want out in a big way. The 10 of Pentacles with the King of Coin in the reverse, to me, It's not a one-man show, right? It's not a one-man show. It's the divine. You don't have to beat yourself up. You know, being the King of Pentacles, the master manifestor, this is the divine sitting on the chair with the white dog. It's loyalty. When we are loyal to spirit, we don't need to try so hard. We have to be loyal to spirit, which means do what feels good. Do what feels good. That's why I don't lie, because I don't like the way it feels after a lie is told. I don't like what a lie does to people when the truth comes out. You know, I don't like it. You know, it's no different. Being loyal to spirit, what feels good. Like if I had to lie about something, I won't do it. If I would feel the need to lie, that's how I know it's out of alignment. I don't like the way lying feels. I don't like it. So why would I do something or say something that if I were questioned about it, I would feel the need to lie? Right? Embarrassment, shame, whatever would come up that I would feel compelled to lie. Self-doubt, insecurities that would compel me to lie. I don't do things that I feel the need to lie about or would feel the need or desire to lie about. When you do things that feel good, you don't need to try to manifest so hard. I think that with the moon and the Page of Swords, you might definitely have a spiritual stalker or a psychological stalker, someone who is embedded in your mind. But they're a manifestation of the snakes or the deep healing within the self, right? Because I have the Magician out with the King of Wands. And the King of Wands, there's this huge snake wrapped around the tree. Huge snake wrapped around the tree. I think you know that communicating your fears. Oh, Spirit. Oh, I love you for that, Spirit. Okay. So what doesn't feel good, right? We were just talking about that. What has happened when you've communicated your fears to someone? Especially romantic. Might also be friendships and family and stuff, but whenever you express your fears to someone, hey Lala, hey Risa, whenever you express your fears to someone, you're giving them ammunition to extort those fears later. I would say if you feel compelled to explain to someone what your fears are as a please don't do this to me, I've been through it already, they're the wrong person. They're the wrong person. You feel compelled to bring up pain and express it to them in a way because you are afraid that they would do it again. And you're trying, right? The bullshit word, you're trying to confirm that they will not do that to you. Because part of your soul is not 100% sure that they wouldn't. And if it's not 100, if it's 99, it's not 100. If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no. They're not the person. They're not the person. And even if you did, out of some like PTSD, like compulsion to express it, right? Because it's a habit. It's just terrifying. The right person is going to literally be like, it's okay. Like, don't even worry about that. And they will immediately seek to get you to cease reliving it, right? Because people relive the trauma every time they try and explain it. That person won't want you to have to bring it up and feel it all over again. It's okay. It's in the past. That's not going to happen to you moving forward. I will never allow it. Never. Right? They take this kind of paladin stance. I think that who you are new moving forward. The Ace of Wands with the Page of Wands, right? The spark of reinvention. We are not manifesting the old anymore. We're moving forward, because if we don't move forward, that old is going to become a permanent fixture in our experience. We have to be able to get out of it. You know, I was kind of thinking the other day too, like Rihanna popped into like my shorts and stuff. And I was thinking back to it, like A$AP Rocky. I don't know where they are now, so forgive me if I'm like not up to date on all the celebrity bullshit. Okay. But from what I've seen in different clips and things like that, like A$AP Rocky would bend over backwards for this woman, treats her like a fucking goddess. That's a long stretch of difference from where she was when she was with Chris Brown. Huge leaps and bounds different. You don't move forward into solid, long-lasting relationships like that unless you are willing to let the past go completely. Right? It's crazy I use them as an example. Please explain, Lala. Oh, who said? Oh, now you got to fill me in. Cancer moon's doing me real well. I love the fact that the moon's back in Cancer. 2 days. I love that, Lala. Yes. See, confirmation. I love that. I love that. So, Gem, trust your forward movement. Trust your forward movement. Because you're going to break out in a big way, right? You're going to break out in a big way, exploding onto the scene with honor, right? With honor, hand in hand in honor. So be mindful of the house that Gemini rules, right? We do have that 3 of Cups and the 7 of Swords on the bottom, the top and bottom of the deck. So make sure that people from your past, the third party energy living rent free in your psyche, like really make sure that they're not stealing your future. They're your past. You know, they're your past. The past is doomed to repeat itself unless you choose a different future. So, yeah. Girl, I would be skittish too. I'm skittish as hell. Skittish as hell. But not closed. You know what I mean? But not closed. Skittish, but not closed. Right? And I think that's an important distinction. There are some people that are completely skittish and closed off. And then there's people who are skittish, but they haven't lost faith that there's good people out there that are a match for them. You know? So, as long as you're open. Roger that. What sign am I doing next? What sign am I doing next? Y'all got to pick the next sign or I am going to default to Cancer. You guys can pick all the signs. Let me know in the chat what sign you want me to do next or I will default to Cancer. I'm going to do a quick shuffle on these. Yeah, definitely Cancer. And then Virgo. Okay. Deal. You don't got to tell me twice. Say less. Cancer, say less. And then Saggy, hey. All right. Cross Cancer, Virgo, and Saggy. Hey. You can tell